dads.
We need to be funnier, and I've decided for us
That's
to be funnier.
That's a bold way to start this. I just want to like coming right out and saying we're not funny enough is bold.
It's not the first time I've done it.
That's
But I
fair.
think the world is ready to hear your Christopher Walker impression because we know it's great, and I think that's really what's going to bump us up the charts.
You think there are people sitting at home that are thinking, man, podcast is great chemistry between the hosts, interesting, thoughtful topics about how hard parenting can be and how rewarding it can be. You know what it's missing? It's missing a sweet, sweet Christopher Walken impression.
I was thinking that. That's why I brought it up. So I can't be the only one out there.
I want to let you know something, Joe.
Yeah.
I have never exercised more restraint in my body than I am right now. Do you know how bad I want to try a Christopher Walken impression? I've never tried it. I've never tried a
I
Christopher...
want you to. Let's
just you and me here. On a recorded medium, you want me to try?
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah, I do. You saw the Super Bowl commercial. Everybody can do a Christopher Walken impression.
You just have to like start and stop a lot randomly. You
yeah.
know?
And put a little bit of this
in
your voice.
It's a little like it's jumping out of your chest when you're talking about it. You know, like
yeah.
Like there's a little bit of
you're halfway there.
Something. Joe, I'm not gonna do a Christopher Walken impression for you. I'm not gonna monkey dance just for what you want.
Well, I think the world is gonna be disappointed.
I'll give you this, because for a long time, this is what I used to repeat to myself. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. That's it. That's all you get. Welcome to Big Dad Energy, the journey of parenting and adulting through the eyes of two young dads. I'm your co-host, Jared Schmansky. And with me, as always, is my co-dad in crime, Joe Lopez. Joe, how the heck are you?
Wow, you really threw me off there. I was about to clap so that I could get my timing marked on the edit, but you really just jumped in there.
You caught me off guard. I caught you off guard. Threw it right back at you.
Wow, you really... I don't even know. I'm glad you have that figured out and memorized, because I've forgotten it several times.
Joe, we've been doing this for 3.5 years.
Good God.
Of course I have it
when
memorized
are we going to be old dads? We got to switch that to regular dads.
I know. We keep saying the eyes of two young dads. We're not that young anymore.
No, the eyes of two middle-aged dads.
I'm trying to figure out if I was 26 or 27, because we started this before my birthday.
We did. So it'll be 4 years this August. You're 30, so you'd be 26.
Yeah, I would have been 26, and I turned 27 like right after we started the podcast. But I was 26 years old when we started this podcast.
Gross. How old am I? What is it? It's 2024?
Yeah.
I'm 32, so I would have been 28 when we did this. My God.
Think back.
Two middle-aged dads.
It's wild. One, it's wild that we started this podcast by doing Christopher Walken impressions and math, like just right back to back, just knocking them out.
Giving the people what they want.
It's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. But yeah, we're gonna have to change that to two middle-aged dads.
Two middle-aged dads.
Joe, how the heck are you?
I'm good. We're all still sick. We got the Camp Crud from camp 2 weeks ago, and we never let it go. We're all just coughing up a storm. But we're fine.
Yeah. I think
we're alive.
So we talked about the fact that we barely survived Christmas. We had a whole long episode about that.
Yeah.
We've had runny noses in the house. It's like just enough to be annoying. Like none of us are what we were back then. None of us are like, oh, I can't get out of bed, I'm so sick. But like I've been super tired this week. I've had a runny nose. Will's had a running nose. Ben's been extra tired. Like it's just cruddy. That's it. It's not I'm dying. It's just cruddy.
I've been so tired the last 2 weeks. Like every night have been like had a dream of staying up and like working on stuff like writing or like getting things ready for D&D, whatever it might be, and then it's like 10 o'clock rolls around, I'm already fighting my kid in bed. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay here, I'm not
Yeah,
moving out of this bed, I live here. But other than that, we're good. It's these dang kids, I tell you what, these
it
dang kids,
is.
they go off to their other little germ factories, they bring it home, and they cough in my mouth, and now this is what happens. We're all sick in here. I'm sure you can hear it in the mic. Everybody's coughing in this house.
Terrible. It's terrible, Joe. I'm so ready. So we got like that little taste of spring the last couple of weeks. Like it wasn't super
Yeah.
warm, but it was like 45, 50 degrees a couple of days. And then we got like an inch of snow today. And it just reminded me we're not even close to being out of this yet. And just brought all that
No.
hope away.
Why do we live here? We have 6 months of winter in this state.
I it is so I always forget it. I always get brainwashed out of it, right?
Yeah.
Every single summer, I get to a point where, like, it's so hot. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for winter. It's so hot. I could not do like my parents live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I
Yeah.
talk to my mom on the phone every week, and she'll be like, "Oh, it's like 65 and sunny here today," and I'm like, "Man, that sounds nice." But then on the flip side,
Yeah.
during the summertime, we'll go down there, be like, their lake is like bathwater. It's so hot. Like the water is hot because it's so
Yeah.
hot down there and humid, like so humid.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, it's not that bad." Yes, it is. Yes, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But I always forget. I always forget.
Yeah.
And then we
And
get to, and it's not even that bad. I am a firm believer that it does not get bad until the middle of January in Michigan.
oh yeah.
Not even from a weather standpoint. It gets cold whenever it gets cold. The cold is not necessarily what bothers me. It's the bleakness.
Yeah.
The bleakness of it all, like where it's just gray and cold every day.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like and it doesn't get bad until the middle of January. And then from like middle of January until like St. Patrick's Day. That
Mhm.
like 2 month stretch is the absolute worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's just gray and
And
cold every day.
St. Patrick's Day can be hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
could be bundled up on St. Patrick's Day, having a few beverages, or you can be in shorts.
There was one
Crazy.
St. Patrick's Day when we were in college. I remember it was 70 degrees. Like the
I remember that
best
St.
day of
Patrick's
our
Day. I'm
lives.
pretty sure there was a lot of drinks being drank that
Yeah,
day.
it's 70 degrees. Of course it was.
70 degrees, and it was probably on a weekend. If
Yeah,
it's the one I'm thinking of,
I think it
it was
was.
on a weekend, and it was the first time we met Kevin. At least the first time I met Kevin.
That's right. That's right. That's a good story. Oh, we should look back
It
on
is a
that.
great story.
Anyway, now we're 30 years old,
Yeah,
32 years old with 2 kids and we're tired. And we're in the
gross.
bleakness.
God, who are we? Who are we? Um, yeah. Other than that, I'm good, man. Just working, living.
It
Drinking tea.
I this whole ploy has been to tell you that I can't wait to get back in my yard. I can't wait to get back in the yard. I got to dig up the sump pump line. All right.
Ugh.
I got to dig that whole thing up and relay it. And then I have to do something about the grading of my yard. So the sump pump, the
Mhm.
reason I have to dig the pipe back up is because I used corrugated pipe, right? That has those little like holes in the side to let things get out of
Yeah.
it. Those holes also, when the when the water goes out, it makes the dirt wet, and then the wet dirt sinks all the way back into the pipe, clogs up the pipe.
Right.
So I didn't think about that the first time because I was, as we mentioned, 26 years old and just moved into my first house. Like, didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I have to wrap it in that weed barrier you use for gardens, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Because that will also let the water back out and not let the dirt back in.
Yeah.
So I got to dig it up, empty it, wrap it in that weed barrier, and lay it back down. But I've noticed since the pipe's been blocked, it got really bad this last like winter because we had a ton of rain in the fall. We had a ton of rain in the winter time too. My yard has been flooded almost consistently for about a month now.
Jeez.
And it's led me to show where all the low points are around my house. So now I gotta,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'll get another another pile of dirt and go ham. But I gotta re-level the yard somehow. I gotta like I don't know. Maybe I'll tear it up. Like I can take one of those like tillers, right, and till the whole thing up and
Oh,
then
I
re-level
wouldn't
it.
do your whole yard.
Not the whole yard,
I
not all
mean,
the way to the back. It's just
good.
around the house, just like that side right next to my
Okay.
like that side
Yeah.
area right next to my house. Tear all that up, pull the dirt up next to the garden beds, and then run it away towards the sidewalk.
Yeah. That's what we did, but we just did that with our pile of dirt. We needed to anyway. Our foundation was so low, so we needed the dirt,
Yeah,
but we just put it up against our house and slowly, you know, graded it
graded
down,
out.
graded it out. Um, well, yeah, I can't wait. Spring's a coming, according to that woodchuck. Groundhog, not a
Ground
woodchuck. It's a
groundhog.
groundhog. A
They have
ground
to. They
chuck.
got to be related. They have to be
It gotta
related.
be. And a wombat. Throw a wombat
Yeah,
in there
I
too.
like that. Is a wombat a marsupial though?
I don't know.
Joe, you work with pets.
Yeah, is a wombat a pet? I mean, I guess so.
Jake from
Hold on.
Australia, you listen to the podcast. Is a wombat a pet?
How do you spell marsupial?
MARSUPIAL.
I got it. They are actually marsupials,
Aha!
related to koalas and kangaroos.
I know my genuses.
Mm, maybe. I mean, yeah, I think so.
Geniuses? No. Genuses?
Geniuses? Wombats, they could be geniuses.
Anyway.
Anyway,
We got a quick episode for you guys. We're already running at 15 minutes, which is half of what we thought we were going to do this whole thing. Joe, let's just talk about Valentine's Day and get out of here. Let's just chat it up.
Oh, it's not even the Super Bowl?
Oh, you're right. I blocked it out, Joe. I blocked it out. Well, for one reason. I'll tell you mine first.
It was so boring.
My whole experience was boring. It got exciting at the end. The game did. I will give it that. It got exciting at the end. So I woke up on Sunday and just did not feel good all day. Like laid in bed, my back hurt. Like I just didn't feel good all day, which sucks because it was Super Bowl Sunday. And so I was feeling cruddy. We didn't really make a ton of stuff. Katie actually went to the store and got Tostitos cheese and chips. The perfect snack. And that's what we had for the Super Bowl. Were Tostitos, queso, and chips. I will say this: a lot of people online, #online, were saying that the Lions would have won that game.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that we have no idea. We have no idea. We can't sit here and say, like, that game was just weird all around. We have no idea how anybody would have handled 2 weeks of Super Bowl, like, media and we just have no idea. So let's just we can be upset the Lions weren't there, but let's not go all the way to say like, hey, the Lions absolutely would have won that game. We have no idea. let's not get ahead of our skis.
We don't, but it was pretty boring up until that fourth quarter.
It was pretty boring. It was pretty boring until the very end. Joe, you had a phenomenal Super Bowl. So my boring shit's out of the way. So I want you to tell me how your Super Bowl was.
Buddy. So we had our two friends over, Kenzie and Stefan, and their baby, who is 9 months old.
Oh, nice.
So they were over, and we cooked enough food for probably 12 people.
You could have convinced me that you were having a family get together, and I would have been like, yeah, that's a decent amount of food.
Yeah. Kenzie and Stefan, and whenever we're together with them, like, we will always just lay out a spread because we're together like all day and just eat all day. It's like our favorite thing to do with them is just graze and like watch movies or TV or whatever we're doing.
Great energy. Just great energy.
Yeah, it's so good. So I made 24 wings ish. and I fried them using your recipe, which was great, but my house stunk like oil.
Yeah, that's. I didn't tell you that downside, but it's definitely a downside.
It is. What else do we have? We had chili. We had a bunch of Kayla made a bunch of like cornbread mini muffins. So we
Mm-hmm.
had some with jalapeno, some that were just
Ooh.
regular and cheese. Then we had some that had like little cocktail weenies in them. Um, and then we had like charcuterie board stuff and chips and dips and like fruits and veg. Like we had everything out. It was great.
Love it.
Uh, Yeah, and they came over around, I don't know, 5 or so, and we started eating. And yeah, we just hung out. And they live up in where you live in Ferndale, and they were here till the whole thing, like until it ended at like 11 o'clock.
That is in ambitious, fully ambitious.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
barely stayed up, and I had nowhere to go but my bed.
yeah. So they stayed, they hung out. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun. Enjoyed the commercials for the most part, but like I said, it was just kind of boring. It was just kind of boring for a while, which was kind of a bummer.
Let's move to the more
But
important part of what happened on Sunday. What'd
yeah.
you think of the halftime show?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. It wasn't my favorite because like I don't love Usher, but
Funny you say that. I told Katie too. I have never been. People are gonna get really mad that I'm gonna call it this. I've never been an R&B fan, right?
me neither.
I've just never been an R&B fan, and that's essentially for the most part outside of like the big pop hits that everybody knows. That's what Usher is. He's an R&B artist, right?
Yeah.
And it's just not my bag. It's just not. And I won't lie. It was a good, like, aesthetically pleasing, a good show. He obviously performs really well. It's just the music wasn't
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. Like, I knew almost all this like I think I knew every song that was played because those were the ones that were
Yeah.
played on the radio, right? But I mean, once Ludacris and Lil Jon
Well, I
like,
mean, that was a
when they
banger.
showed up, I was like, "Okay. Yeah." I mean, yeah, it's a hit song from when I was in 6th grade.
It's still played
Uh
at. I saw a tweet online that somebody was trying to say Usher is the closest thing our generation will have to Michael Jackson. And it's a
oh.
weird tweet, but when I sat down and thought about it, it's going to be very, very interesting when Kevin listens to this and has his own takes on it. It's at first it was like a weird take, but then I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I guess so. Like he's probably has some of the most popular songs of our generation, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, it gets played at every wedding 3 different times.
That's true. It does. It is a banger.
It's a banger.
It does get going.
So
Um,
I think I'm in the same boat as you. It was a good performance that I knew.
yeah, it was good. I think so they're catering to our generation now, right? But like give me some of that emo music one Super
You
Bowl.
know what?
Like throw My Chem out there.
I said this to Katie as we're watching it, and I said I want you to know something. This is the first in the line of remember. I don't know how many Super Bowls you watched as a kid. I'm not gonna assume how far back you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
I remember as a
yeah.
kid, I was maybe like early high school. The Rolling Stones did a halftime show,
Yeah.
and my mom loved it. Other reasons
Yeah.
there's a lot to it, but she loved it. And I remember thinking like, yeah, it's okay. It's the Rolling Stones. Like it's all right.
Yeah.
That was this was our version of that. They are now
Oh,
catering
for sure.
to the demographic
Yes.
of, the demographic generation, which is us. We are now the target audience.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
it will be there will be more to come. I can say that, where there will be what other people will call throwbacks.
Absolutely. And they're going to be great. I'm looking forward to them. Like I said, I'm really glad that I'm a football fan now because I really enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed watching the Lions and I'm excited to do it again.
It's going to be fun next year. Next year's our year, Joe.
Yeah,
Every year. Next year's our
next year's
year.
our year. Every year. Um, yeah, and then this week was Valentine's Day. Uh, how'd it go? What'd you guys do? Did you do anything? It was a Wednesday, so.
Joe, we did nothing. So Katie, Detroit Cookie Company every year makes cookie cakes, right? And Katie has
Yeah,
gotten me one every year. She's at least gotten me it a few times, I'll say.
yeah,
At least twice. I can remember two of them.
yeah.
Um,
I can too. I can remember this one and last year.
and okay, perfect. So, uh, she got me another one. It had a D&D pickup line on it, which was very funny.
It was very good.
It was
It was very, very good.
very surprised that she pulled that one off. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
It was really funny. I laughed.
Um, and so we've munched on that for about a week now. We've munched on that.
Yeah.
And then on Valentine's Day itself, I just went out and woke up and got her coffee in the morning. And it was ruined because my children have now decided they want to wake up on completely different schedules. Will wants to sleep in,
Oof.
Ben wants to wake up at 6. And
Yeah.
normally I'm with Ben in the morning. Like at like 5 o'clock in the morning, Ben calls out and I go and lay in his bed with him for the last hour until he like fully wakes up. So
Yeah.
for like months now, that's been my routine. For like 2 days this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, Ben decided he wanted mom in the morning. And Will decided he wanted to sleep on me in the morning. So for like just those 2 days, we switched roles where Katie would sleep with Ben in the early morning.
Yeah.
And so I didn't set an alarm because I'm like, oh, I'm going to wake up with Ben and Ben and I'll just go get, I went out and got Katie coffee before she went to work.
Right.
And I was like, oh, we'll just go out and get coffee. Well, that was one of the 2 days that Ben decided he wanted mom. And so Will was asleep on my chest, like head on my chest, asleep. And Katie comes in and shakes me
Yeah.
because I had warned her the night before that I was going to go out in the morning and get her coffee. And she shook me at like 6:30. She's like, you're going to have to go now. And I was so mad because then it's not even, I didn't even get to like wake up and go do it myself. I had to be woken up to go get the coffee.
Oh,
Kids, man. But
kids.
yeah, we did that. It was okay. We
Yeah.
I like to tease Katie because I saw a meme this weekend. A meme if you would, a meme. That's like it said when the punk rock girl you started dating stopped saying things like Valentine's Day is a corporate setup.
Yeah.
And I showed that to
That's
Katie
funny.
because she tricked me when we were dating that she would be like, "That's just a corporate holiday. It's no big deal."
Yeah.
Not anymore. Just not.
It's not. It's not. Yeah, I feel like Valentine's Day is fun, but like not on the top of like my, you know,
I'm gonna.
top up there of
Yeah,
things.
I'm not anti Valentine's Day. I it is not it doesn't make the list of holidays. I'll give it that. You know, like if I'm listing
Yeah.
out holidays that I like, Valentine's Day doesn't make the list. I understand now as I've gotten older and been married. I'll be married 5 years in June, by the way, Joe. Let that sink in.
Good God.
Yeah. Uh as I've been married and let this, you know, it has been impressed upon me that just because you don't need another reason to show your love doesn't mean you shouldn't use that reason to show your love. So I understand it from that aspect. I still
Yeah.
it's not something that like we're not gonna we're not get babysitters for the kids to go out to dinner on a Wednesday night kind of thing for Valentine's Day, right?
Right.
So it was a nice little thing. I think it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. We so I ordered Kayla flowers.
Attaboy.
And m- my thing was I ordered them from 1-800 Flowers, and for some reason, my brain thought, "Hey, they partner with whatever shop is nearest to you. They send out the order to them, and then they deliver it,
Yeah.
like, you know, like that, like a flower delivery." Not the flowers come in a box. Like
From a warehouse, yes.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know why I thought that. Like, at
I'm sure
my
there are
job,
services
like,
that do that.
there definitely are because where I work, we've sent out flowers to, customers or
Mm-hmm.
coworkers or whatever, and I guess typically they would use another like they would just go to a different website or I guess go directly to the nearest flower shop, whatever it might be, and get it delivered. Which for some reason my brain just didn't think about it as I was doing it. I was just like,
Sure.
oh yeah, I typed in flower delivery and like looked it up and did the thing. And I got the picture. It was like, hey, it's been delivered, and it's like just a box. I was like, oh my god, this is like the shittiest way to give flowers I can think of is like coming from a box. So I text Kayla. I was like, "Hey, there's something on the porch if you haven't seen it. I'm so sorry it's in a box. I was not expecting it to come like this." Um, but I just went to push up my glasses that aren't there.
You
Um,
were wearing your glasses not 10 minutes ago, Joe.
I know they're right here. Um, I took them off because the glare is so bad.
Yeah.
Uh, but she's like, "Oh, I'm not home." So she got home and she took them out of the box and she's like, "They're very nice." And there was more than I expected. There's basically enough to make 2 bouquets.
Oh,
So
wow.
she picked one and Cora picked one. Um, so they each got a bouquet. And then I picked up Mexican food on the way home.
Nice.
And Kayla made some chocolate covered strawberries, which were delightful. And then she got the kids like little Valentine's Day presents too. So it was fun. I mean, didn't really do anything too crazy, but it was nice.
Did Cora do Valentine's at school?
Yes, they both did.
Nice.
Valentine's. Yeah, did Ben?
Yeah. Yeah. We got Matchbox cars for all of his. Like, there was like a pack
Oh,
of
that's pretty cool.
like cheap Matchbox cars that came with cards that you got to write on and then
That's
tie
pretty
the
cool.
little card to it. And funny enough, somebody also had the same idea because Ben got a little truck back. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, it was cute.
That's kind of the fun part about Valentine's Day as a parent is going with your kids to like pick out what they want to give or you pick for them.
Yeah.
'Cause there's so many different things out there. With Cora, we did frozen Valentines that had like frozen erasers in there.
Oh, nice.
Gave those out. Kayla made like little goodie bags for Grayson's, but she had bought what she thought was like Valentine Play-Dohs, like little Play-Doh
Yeah.
containers that were like Valentine's themed, came in a Valentine's bag. She thought, oh, there would be like a to and from sticker on the Valentine's or on the
Right.
Play-Doh, and there wasn't. It was literally just a bag of different Play-Dohs, but the bag was just a Valentine's themed bag. So she made little goodie bags of like candy and some snacks and the Play-Doh
Cute. Very
and
cute.
gave those out. But yeah, it's fun. There's a lot of fun Valentines out there for kids.
It's it is something like it's an underrated thing because like Ben was so speech delayed. It took us a long time to get to this place of like where he is telling us what he wants, if that makes sense. Like, I actually want this.
Yeah,
Of course, now it's I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. But when we do get to
right.
a place where it's like, hey, which one of these you want? Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that's very
Yeah,
cool. Very, very cool. Especially because he's
it
got his own
is.
like little personality now, and he's got his best friends in his class that he loves and stuff like that. So it's very cool.
Right. Yeah, we tried to get Cora to write her name on all of them. She only wrote on like 10 or like 7 out of 15. And she was writing like, "Oh, this one's gonna be for so and so, or this one's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be for this person." I mean, it didn't matter. We didn't put names on them for who
No.
they went to, but she knew. She was like, "This one's gonna be for this person, and this one's gonna be for him and her." I was like, "That's fun. That's cute." Um, it's fun to see Cora write and start to write her name. Has
Yeah.
Ben explored writing his name?
He knows how to spell his name, which I would hope so. It's only 3 letters. and he knows how to spell it, and actually he knows how to read it, which is pretty cool. When he
Oh, that's
sees
cool.
the letter B on things, he goes B like BEN, which is pretty neat.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
so he knows that. He knows how he can write it out, but I don't know. He can write it out with help. I don't think he can sit there and actually like, hey, write your
Yeah.
name BEN, over and over again. I think
Yeah.
if we, Katie does these little educational games with him where she'll, because she's a teacher and has all these supplies just literally everywhere,
Yeah.
all over the place forever, has little like dot stickers, right? So she'll
Mhm.
write BEN randomly around a piece of paper like a bunch of times, like just like a B here, an E down here, an N up here, and then just like all over the place. And then on the stickers have the matching letter, and then have him put each letter on the corresponding letter on the piece of paper.
Right.
And the other day he did it and did it 100% perfectly, which is pretty neat.
Nice.
Um,
That's very cool.
so I didn't look before we handed him the. I think him and Katie sat down and did it when I was still at work one day. They sat down and did all the names on his card.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool.
oh,
Nice.
I wish I knew more.
Well, yeah. Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
It's come and gone. There's next year. Always next year.
You know what, Joe?
Uh,
Valentine's Day is for the kids. That's what I've decided.
it is. It's for the young couples
Before
and the old couples.
the one thing, I have one last gripe, and it's not a gripe against Katie. It's a gripe against Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day
Okay.
is a roses holiday.
Yeah.
Roses are way overpriced.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can all agree on that. My wife doesn't like roses. Any other, mainly because they're overpriced. It's not like she looks at them like, oh, ugly mainly it's because people who, when they make roses bouquets, they're like, hey, you want to pay $100 for 8 flowers? And you're like, no, not really.
Yeah.
But they're like,
Yeah.
you should pay $100.
You should.
So that's my gripe against Valentine's Day. There are other flowers out there that aren't roses.
Yes. My bouquets had a couple roses, but a lot of like lilies, maybe some daisies, a couple other things, but only a few roses. Nothing too. And they weren't. I don't even think they were red roses either. I think I had pink in the bouquet I got.
I gotta do a better job searching next year because all the ones I looked up a bunch of different bouquets to order, and they were all like, "Hey, here's $100 for a bouquet of roses." I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
That's not what I want. Nobody wants that.
Yeah. No. Maybe if I could have found like some all black ones, I think that would have been cool. Kayla would like that.
You guys are so goth.
We are. All right, let's get out of here.
Let's do it, Joe.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. We really, really appreciate you. If you haven't already, give us a like, a comment, subscribe, rating, review, all that good stuff on wherever you're listening to this, whatever podcast platform, or on YouTube. All that really helps. Shoot us an email at bigdadenergypod@gmail.com. And send us some ideas, topics, your thoughts, whatever you need. Shoot us something. We'd love to hear it. And thank you so much to Plain Ant for having us on the podcast network.
You heard Joe talk about it. Go find us on YouTube. We're at Big Dad Energy Podcast on YouTube. Go look us up. There's links all over the place. We're gonna post a link to our YouTube on our Instagram, which is also Big Dad Energy Podcast. So go find us there. Follow us on Big Dad Energy Pod on Facebook and Twitter. And thank you guys so much for listening. I know this was a highly chaotic episode. As you can see, Joe and I are sick and sleepy. It is just that time of year. We're just battling through it. So appreciate you guys coming back. Can't believe we've been doing this for almost 4 years. That's wild.
Good God.
Hopefully you guys are here for the next 4 years. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. I'm Jared Schmansky.
I'm Joe Lopez.
Remember, click your tongues twice before you use them.
This has been a production of Planet Ant Podcast, powered by Pinecast.